I had an inspiration for 3 little separate topics. I took a shower. Yes, took a shower. And, of course, the downloads come right then and there. How can you read the Akashic records? This book of life, this library, the Akasha are fine imprints, like dusting for fingerprints in the universe. That's what the Akasha is, right? Any thought, any action, any energetic movement, anything, even on the thought level. In beginning, there's thought or light. In beginning, there's light. That's the first material creation is light. In the beginning, there's light. Light then congeals, condenses into materiality, creates hydrogen atoms or quanta of light or subatomic particles, whatever level you want to see it at. But before that, there's thought. Even the thought is recorded in the Akasha. Everything is, in a sense, that has ever occurred and will occur, because time is cyclical, exists now. That brings up a whole bunch of other existential fears. How can you get out of the game? That's another topic. So, how can you have access to that? You become safe to have access to, when you meet people, to see through them. The Master looked through me. When people reported interacting with Jesus, they would feel as if the Master looked right through them, looked into all their lifetimes, beyond what they're even aware of for themselves. How can you start doing that? Now, there's an automatic safeguard in the universe. God doesn't work that hard. In fact, God doesn't work at all. God has giant orgasms and creates universes. That's the truth of that. But how can you be allowed also, or gain access to the Akashic records? Now, you can do psychic spying and SRI, Stanford Research Institute, Project Stargate, remote viewing, spying, trying to get things over on people. You can do that. But you will have to, that's the old way of the seers had to have their eyes poked out. They have to sacrifice something. The blind seers, the oracles, the Delphi, the witches. They're blinded always in the stories, because it's true. They've given up this sight to gain the third eyesight. That's the witchery, fallen, occult. Occult just means occluded or in the dark. Feeling that you have to pay something, right? That's the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth universe. That's not the grace universe. That's not the Christos, Logos, Jesus, Krishna's. That's not their universe. Their universe is unlimited energy. But how do you get access to that? The only way is through non-judgment and innocence. God doesn't punish. It's just how it's set up. When you have the non-judgment, a Yogananda can look on his disciples and he can see all their things they're hiding from the world, this sexual predilection, which they think is wrong, smoking or hiding things that they think is wrong, cheating on the diet, all that. So when students come to you, now I do this some. I'm not interested in people's stories. I know they're all a tempest in a teacup. I know we were murderers, rapists, killers, satanic ritual, witchcraft, all that. Yeah, all that shit we've done. Power over others, inhabiting bodies, possessing people. Solomon did it. He dealt with demons, disincarnate spirits to build his temple, familiars. Look up the Lesser Key of Solomon. So as you become innocent without judgment, i.e., therefore the grace of God go I can hold nothing against them as a soul. Then, because you are not judging them, you're not going to add to their burden, automatically that ability opens up. The universe just has that. It's like a library card to the Akashic library. Once you become non-judgmental and innocent, become ye as little children, a child shall lead them. The second birth is true innocence, wise as serpents, gentle as doves. I do the Bible stuff because that's been programmed into the Western world. For other people, it's, the East or Buddhists, I don't use that stuff. That's the only way you're going to get access to that stuff without having to pay the piper by losing your sight or, something like that. Besides, that stuff doesn't last. The denial, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth power games without heart involved, psychic powers, they don't last. They need energy to keep going. They need to continually feed. The natural innocence, the second birth. Jesus got that, by the way, from the pyramid. He went through the Egyptian mystery pyramid, and where you come out in the morning and face the rising eastern sun across the Nile out of the pyramid, you are reborn again because you died during the night. That sarcophagus was never a coffin. It was, in a sense, because you would die, but you would be reborn that same night, morning. So the only way you're going to have access to the Akashic records fully and be allowed to travel freely is just the way JFK and John were. What kind of example is that, Tobias? Remember the picture, Google it, JFK and John, Oval Office. In a sense, you could say the representation of the power on earth at that time was John F. Kennedy sitting in the Oval Office, the round table, right? Everyone else has to make appointments with him. The Secretary of State, the Secretary of War, the head of the Congress, you know, the majority whip, so forth. They have to make appointments. But his little 2-3-year-old son can come in any time, and therefore that beautiful picture of John playing under JFK's desk. God's source is always ready for us to come to him, to her, to it, in innocence and as a little child. A wise child, not a naive child. Wise innocence. That's the only way you're going to be given permanent access to the Akashic records. This is why true masters will look upon with compassion. He looked at me, and I felt truly naked. He saw my soul. He saw my soul. She saw my soul. That's the only way you're going to have that inside information. All right, more later.